This is the visual that is haunting the White House this morning. It is the image that no amount of spin, no amount of rallies, and no amount of Truth Social posts can fix. If you look at the live security feeds from JFK International in New York, LAX in Los Angeles, and O'Hare in Chicago, you will see something that defies the laws of modern economics. It is a Friday morning in late January. Usually these terminals are the beating heart of global commerce, packed with international tourists, business executives, and cargo crews moving the wealth of nations. Today, they are ghost towns. At 6:00 a.m. Eastern Time, a coordinated grassroots movement that started as a meme on TikTok in Europe and exploded across the Asian markets has officially made landfall on American soil. The Make America Go Away sentiment has morphed from a political slogan into a global economic weapon of mass destruction. They are calling it the Great American Boycott. And unlike government sanctions, which take months to negotiate and years to bite, this is hitting instantly. The speed is terrifying. International travel bookings to the United States have dropped 90% in the last 24 hours. European dock workers are refusing to unload American ships in Rotterdam and Hamburg. And in a move that has sent Apple and Tesla stock plunging another 12% in pre-market trading, Chinese consumers are live streaming themselves, throwing their iPhones into the trash in a display of nationalism that has gone viral. President Donald Trump, already besieged by the ballroom scandal, the nurse shooting fallout, and the Japan bond crash, is reportedly terrified. Sources inside the West Wing say the president understands one thing above all else: the brand. He knows that his power rests on the idea that America is the envy of the world. And for the first time in history, the USA brand is toxic. He is screaming at his trade advisors. He is demanding that the European Union force their citizens to buy American goods. He is threatening to seize foreign assets. But he is learning the hardest lesson of capitalism. You can force a country to sign a treaty, but you cannot force a customer to walk into a store. In this massive deep dive finale to our week of crisis coverage, we are going to break down the mechanics of this global boycott. We are going to expose the secret Zoom call between the world's top 50 CEOs that sealed Trump's fate. We are going to reveal why the president is suddenly frantically calling the very world leaders he insulted just 48 hours ago. And we are going to look at the BRICS option, the financial nuclear weapon that is being loaded into the silo right now. The world isn't just ignoring America. They are actively deleting us from the global economy. To understand the panic in Washington, you have to look at the speed of this. Governments move slow, people move fast. After the fatal insult tweet where Trump called European leaders vassals and the horrific leaked video of Sarah Jenkins being executed in Minneapolis, the global public snapped. The reservoir of goodwill that America built up over 75 years drained away in 75 hours. It started in Denmark. Following the president's threat to annex Greenland, a viral challenge called "We're Bye USA" began trending in Copenhagen. Danish influencers, who usually idolize American culture, started posting videos of themselves canceling their Netflix subscriptions. They showed themselves switching from Coca-Cola to local sodas. They filmed themselves canceling their Florida vacations and booking trips to Spain instead. It spread to France. The French, who have always had a love-hate relationship with American power, decided they had enough. French cafes in Paris started putting up handwritten signs in their windows. No American products served here. Videos of French citizens returning Levi's jeans and Nike shoes flooded TikTok. The hashtag Sans Amérique, without America, became the #1 trend in the Eurozone. Then it hit Asia. In South Korea and Japan, U.S. allies who were humiliated by Trump's protection racket comments, the boycott turned corporate. Samsung stores in Seoul launched an overnight campaign offering trade-in deals for iPhones that are so aggressive they are practically giving phones away. The marketing tagline? Switch to stability, switch to respect. Japanese youth, who drive the trends of Asia, are posting videos burning American flags, not out of religious hatred, but out of cultural disgust. This isn't just about politics, it's about disgust. The video of Sarah Jenkins dying has been viewed 2 billion times globally. To the world, buying an American product right now feels like funding a police state. The cool factor of America, our greatest export worth more than our oil or our weapons, is dead. Wall Street analysts are calling it a reputational black swan. Goldman Sachs just issued an emergency note downgrading the entire U.S. consumer discretionary sector to sell. They estimate that if this boycott lasts 1 month, it will cost the U.S. economy $500 billion. If it lasts 3 months, we are looking at a depression that makes 1929 look like a mild correction. The most dangerous element of this boycott isn't the consumers, it's the labor unions. The International Transport Workers Federation, ITF, which represents 20 million transport workers globally, held an emergency vote yesterday in London. They passed a resolution in solidarity with the American nurses and the victims of state violence in Minneapolis. The result: constructive delays. In Rotterdam, Europe's largest port and the gateway to the German industrial heartland, dock workers are inspecting every single container coming from the United States. Usually, inspections take minutes. They scan the barcode and move it. Now they are opening the boxes. They are counting the items. They are checking for safety. Inspections are taking days. American soybeans, American cars, American machinery are sitting on the wet docks of the Netherlands, rotting and rusting. In Vancouver and Montreal, Canadian longshoremen, already furious about the lumber tariffs, have joined the line. They are refusing to load Canadian goods onto U.S.-bound trains. The Canada blockade we discussed on Sunday has now expanded to the maritime borders. This is choking the U.S. supply chain from the outside in. Walmart and Target are already warning of empty shelves by next week. Factories in the Rust Belt, Trump's political base, are shutting down because they can't get parts from Europe to build their machines, and they can't export their finished goods to Asia. Trump tried to threaten the unions on Truth Social this morning. The lazy European dock workers are playing games. I will ban their ships from U.S. waters. I will seize their cargo. It was an empty threat. If he bans European ships, the U.S. starves. We import 40% of our medical supplies and high-tech components. The unions know this. They have the leverage, and they are using it to squeeze the life out of his presidency. While the streets are boycotting, the boardrooms are conspiring. We have learned from leaks at the Financial Times that a secret video conference took place yesterday afternoon. The participants, the CEOs of the Global 50, Unilever, Nestle, Toyota, Siemens, LVMH, HSBC, and major global banks. The topic of the call was blunt: de-risking America. For decades, these companies viewed the United States as their safe harbor. It was where you put your money when the rest of the world was crazy. Now they view it as a conflict zone. The transcript of the call reportedly features the CEO of a major German automaker saying, "We cannot rely on a market where the president threatens to seize assets, where the bond market is broken, and where the government shoots nurses. We must pivot to Asia and South America immediately." They agreed to a silent withdrawal. No press releases, no big announcements that would trigger Trump's rage. Just a quiet shifting of investment capital away from the U.S., canceling new factories in Ohio, moving R&D centers to Toronto or London, reducing inventory in U.S. warehouses. This is the capital strike that kills an economy. It's not a crash, it's a suffocation. Trump calls the CEOs globalist traitors, but they don't care. They answer to shareholders, and shareholders hate instability. By making America unstable, Trump made America uninvestable. The ultimate irony of the Trump presidency is this: he wanted to build a wall to keep the world out. Now the world is building a wall to keep us in. Several nations are issuing travel advisories for the United States, usually reserved for war zones. New Zealand raised its threat level for the U.S. to high risk, the same category as Turkey or Colombia. They cite civil unrest, arbitrary detention, and risk of state violence against foreign nationals. Germany warned its citizens, avoid all protests. Do not engage with federal law enforcement. Medical care may not be available due to strikes. Be aware that gun violence is prevalent and police response is unpredictable. This is humiliating. The U.S. relies on tourism for 10 million jobs. Florida, Nevada, New York, their economies run on visitors. The hotels in Miami are reporting 80% cancellations for February. The casinos in Las Vegas are empty. Disney World is a ghost town. Trump's reaction to this has been frantic. He ordered the State Department to issue counter-advisories claiming Europe is dangerous, but nobody believes him. They see the video of the nurse. They see the tear gas in the church. They know where the danger is. Here is the terror part. Donald Trump realizes he has pushed too far. The fatal insult tweet didn't make them submit, it made them leave. Now facing an economic depression, he is trying to fix it. Sources say he spent the morning trying to call Emmanuel Macron and Keir Starmer. He wants to offer a deal. He is reportedly willing to drop the Greenland demands. He is willing to drop the tariffs. He just wants the statement retracted. He wants the ambassadors to come back, but they aren't taking his calls. The Élysée Palace in France issued a statement. The president is currently traveling and unavailable. Downing Street in London said, "The Prime Minister stands by the joint statement. There is nothing to discuss until the rhetoric changes." They are ghosting the President of the United States. They know he is desperate. They smell the fear. They are waiting for him to break. This is the gray rock method of dealing with a narcissist. You stop engaging. You stop arguing. You just turn away. And for a man who needs attention like oxygen, this silence is suffocating. The boycott has reached the one sector Trump needs to keep the stock market afloat: big tech. The European Union's threat to use the anti-coercion instrument, ACI, has terrified Silicon Valley. If Europe blocks U.S. data transfers, Facebook, Google, and Microsoft stop working in Europe. That is 30% of their revenue gone overnight. The tech CEOs, Musk, Zuckerberg, Cook, are reportedly in an emergency meeting at the White House right now. But they aren't there to support Trump. They are there to give him an ultimatum. Fix this or we tank the market. Elon Musk, who played a role in the failed Greenland deal, has reportedly turned. He posted a cryptic meme on X this morning, a sinking ship with the caption, "Abandon." If Musk turns on Trump, the crypto bros and the tech right turn too. Trump loses his online army. The tech sector has the power to deplatform the entire administration if they want to. They can tweak the algorithms. They can hide his posts. And with the EU holding a gun to their head, they might just do it. Back on Main Street, the panic is setting in. Americans are watching the news about the dock worker blockade. They are rushing to the stores. Panic buying has started. Toilet paper, medicine, electronics, car parts. The just-in-time supply chain cannot handle this. By Monday, the shelves will be empty. And when Americans can't buy what they want, they blame the president. The Make America Go Away protests are growing because now even the apolitical consumers are angry. They don't care about Greenland. They care that they can't get insulin because it's stuck on a ship in Rotterdam. The boycott has brought the consequences of Trump's foreign policy right into the American living room. There is a final existential threat looming that makes everything else look small. The BRICS nations, Brazil, Russia, India, China, South Africa, are meeting today in an emergency session. They are discussing a coordinated move to dump the US dollar. For years, this was a theory. Today, it is a survival strategy. With the U.S. economy paralyzed by boycotts, the U.S. government unstable, and the rule of law collapsing, asset seizure, the dollar looks risky. If China and Saudi Arabia decide to price oil in yuan or gold, the dollar collapses. Hyperinflation hits the U.S. Your savings become worthless. Your pension evaporates. This is the nuclear option of finance, and Trump knows it. He is watching the dollar index, DXY, drop like a stone. He knows that if the dollar loses reserve status, America becomes Argentina. We lose our superpower status overnight. We can't print our way out of debt if nobody wants the paper. Reports from the residents describe a president who is physically shrinking. He is not eating. He is pacing. He is obsessed with the boycott maps showing red zones across the globe. He keeps asking, why do they hate me? I made them rich. He is experiencing a narcissistic collapse. The reality, everyone hates me, is clashing with his delusion. Everyone loves me. When this happens, the behavior becomes erratic and dangerous. Staff are removing sharp objects. They are limiting his access to the nuclear football. We are witnessing the psychological disintegration of the commander-in-chief. There are 9 million Americans living abroad. They are the first victims of the boycott. They are being refused service in restaurants in Paris and Tokyo. They are being evicted by landlords who don't want Americans. They are flooding the U.S. embassies asking for help. But the embassies are paralyzed by the diplomatic freeze. Trump has abandoned his own citizens overseas. Their horror stories are flooding social media, adding fuel to the fire back home. I can't buy food in Berlin because my U.S. credit card is being declined by the merchant. This is the reality of being a pariah. This week has changed everything. We started with a trade war. We ended with a global quarantine of the United States. The Make America Go Away movement succeeded. America has gone away. We are isolated, broke, and angry. The boycott proves that in 2026, you cannot rule by fear, because eventually the world stops being afraid and starts being organized. The consumers of the world have fired Donald Trump. Now we wait to see if the American voters will do the same. Subscribe. This is the end of our special coverage week. But the story isn't over. Monday is coming, and the markets open at 9:30 a.m. God help us all. Let's look at why Trump can't sue his way out of this. Usually, the WTO, World Trade Organization, prevents countries from banning goods. But this isn't a government ban. It's a consumer boycott. The WTO cannot force a French teenager to buy Nikes. The WTO cannot force a Dutch dock worker to work faster. This is asymmetric economic warfare. It bypasses all the treaties. It exploits the freedom of the market to destroy the market. Trump's lawyers are looking for a loophole, but there isn't one. You cannot sue the zeitgeist. Marketing experts are calling this the Bud Light moment for the entire country. Once a brand becomes toxic, it takes decades to recover. Made in USA used to mean quality and freedom. Now, thanks to the leaked videos and the tweets, it means chaos and violence. Foreign companies are actively removing U.S. flags from their packaging to avoid the boycott. This destroys our exports for a generation. Even if Trump leaves tomorrow, the stain remains. We have to rebuild our reputation from zero. The soft power deficit is now larger than the budget deficit. California and New York are opening their own diplomatic channels. Governor Newsom, or successor, is talking to the EU directly. Don't boycott California wine. We hate him too. We are seeing the fragmentation of the U.S. foreign policy. States are cutting their own deals to survive the boycott. This is the beginning of the end of the federal union. If the feds can't protect trade, the states will do it themselves. The massive boycott is the invisible army that Trump cannot bomb and cannot arrest. It is the power of the purse, and the purse is closed. Stay safe, stay liquid, and prepare for a very different world.